So
Yeah.
Tim, I want to wrap up here with the final question about dealing with burnout. I know that you had kind of taken a little bit of a hiatus on the Video Creators channel, and you did a great video about this. And I wonder what advice would you give to creators who feel like so overwhelmed with like, God, I have to make stuff all the time. I have to keep delivering to the audience. Otherwise, like my videos just aren't gonna pop off anymore. What pieces of advice would you give to people related to this subject?
You know, I think since my own experience happened with it, for anyone who's not familiar, I basically had a physical breakdown, stress-induced breakdown in the middle of the night, had excruciating pain in my stomach, and was about to go to the hospital before it thankfully subsided. And the doctor later and a therapist, counselor person was like, yeah, it sounds like it was stress-induced, and I need to change some things about my lifestyle and amount of sleep I get and how hard I work and things like that. Before that happened, my advice would have been like, yeah, just have good boundaries and don't overwork and stuff, whatever, right? But post that, I think I knew all that stuff before it happened. And it was always like, oh, I don't feel stressed. Like, oh, that happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. And now I'm kind of like, I don't think there's really a way around it. Like you can try to take advice, but you probably, it's like one of those things like you know is going to happen, but you don't think it'll happen to you, or you think like I've got it all under control until you don't, and you just never see that moment coming, and then it hits you like a bus, and then you're like, oh, that's what I'm missing. So I think my advice now is like, it'll come. Like, and unfortunately for some friends of mine, since posting that video, they reached out and be like, yeah, it happened to me, but I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks and
Mm.
glad that wasn't happening to you. So, I mean, there are some really real financial and physical consequences for it. But I think the people who need the advice don't usually, like me, listen to the advice because they already assume like that's not me. And if you think that that's not me, that's not going to happen to me, then it's going to happen to you. So it's unfortunate that the people who need the advice are usually the people who discount the advice for that particular issue. So yeah, my advice is like still the same, I suppose, at the end of the day. But the people who need the advice are probably the people who won't take it. Like
Yeah.
me, that's what happened to me. You know.
Well, even there, like what you're saying, I think just understanding and accepting that it's gonna come, like that you are gonna get burnt out, like you're gonna have like moments in your life where you're just down, and understanding that I think can help a lot in terms of not necessarily preventing it from happening, but maybe like mitigating how long you like if you get depressed or something like that, how long you deal with a depression or whatnot. Obviously physical ailments are a lot more challenging to deal with, but I don't know,
Yeah.
that's just something that came to mind, and I know it's personally worked for me.
I think the issue is that, and I've been since learning this about myself since going through therapy after that happened and working with a counselor and things, that there's underlying beliefs that we hold about ourselves that make us discount that type of advice. Like, oh no, my audience needs me. And we don't say these things out loud to ourselves, and we might not even admit that they're true about us until something happens and we're forced to face it. And then we're like, okay, that really was true about us, but about me. And the fact that I'm just making this up. This isn't true about me, but I just need to feel needed, for example. And I have to publish a video every week or else my audience is going to be disappointed. Well, that's a belief you hold about yourself. They might not even notice, but you just want to make sure that they notice because it makes you feel more valuable or more loved or more wanted or desirable or whatever, right? And so a lot of the reasons why we discount this stuff goes into a lot deeper than to just like, oh yeah, I take care of myself. I sleep enough, right? Or I have a whatever. So I think that's the reason why we can hear a lot of advice around this, and we all probably know what we should do, but we just don't do it because it would conflict with a deeply held belief that maybe we haven't even identified yet. And So that's definitely been part of the good part for me, is I feel like I understand myself better and some of the unhealthy beliefs I had that compelled me to have unhealthy habits when it comes around publishing, and even motives for growing a business, and even reaching people and change lives can become selfish under certain conditions. So it's been really eye-opening for me, and I don't really know that there's a shortcut to that place. So there might be. That's like, I'm still too close to it to give you advice for that right now.
Yeah.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching this excerpt of the Videocraft show presented by Video Husky. If you're a content creator that struggles to organize scripture ideas for your videos, I've got a resource for you. You can get a copy of our free script template. Using it can help you structure your videos and save you hours of time from filming in the process. To get it, all you have to do is just scroll down on this video, find the link in the description, and subscribe to our email list. From there, it'll get delivered straight to your inbox right after you sign up. And by the way, if you're enjoying these videos, can you do us just a quick favor and hit the like button before you go? And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel too, to stay up to date with all the content that we're creating here on this channel. And finally, be sure to tune into the Videocraft show presented by Video Husky on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. We've got links in the description down below. If you want to watch or listen to the full episode, just tap the video right next to me over here, and that'll take you to the entire episode in which this excerpt is from. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.